What's good, my people, man? What's good, YouTube? Flash Speaks back for another video, man. And we're gonna let this one breathe a little bit. This is gonna take a little bit of a minute. We're not gonna hold you too long, but we want to really deal with something, man, that I think is of a serious nature. Like normally, a lot of times I come on here, joking, a lot of times roasting or upset and angry over a game or something like that. But this right here is a situation that I think is beyond that. It's really serious. And one of the reasons I'm talking about it is because it was picked up by ESPN Stephen A. Smith. And it really it's been about a running thing that's been going on in the WNBA, mostly coming from that sector of Caitlin Clark fans who've just been pushing this narrative, of what I call Caitlin Clark exceptionalism, right? And Caitlin Clark exceptionalism, I'm going to talk about it before we get into Stephen A. Smith's, because I'm going to play his what he had to say and then respond to it as well. But what we call Caitlin Clark exceptionalism is based on the idea, okay, that's been concocted by members of her fan base that she is this exceptionally great player that is, just exceptionally best, better than every other player that's ever played, and more important, simply because of the number of people who want to watch her play. Now, I could go into why that may be going into college and everything that happened, there at Iowa, and how they, somehow managed to beat South Carolina, then lose to LSU. We could do all of that, but I think most of you know most of this background, so I don't see no need to get into it. Okay, but they have this idea that, or this belief, I don't know if they really believe it or not, that Caitlin Clark, though, is just somehow targeted by the players of the WNBA for whatever reason. Typically, they'll say that they've said everything from her just because she's famous. They are jealous of her skills. They've said, I've actually read on Reddit some of the conversations, and trust me, I don't suggest you go there unless you want to get pissed off, right? Because some of the things these people say are just disgusting. They'll mention, they swear up and down that they're not racist and that race isn't a thing for them. But the first thing they'll say, it's because she's in a league, and I got receipts if you want, but she's in a league with 70% black players, okay, which ain't even really an accurate number, but they say 70% black players who are gay, and they're angry because she's straight. One of them said because she's good looking. One of them actually said that. So they're angry at these things. So they're angry at Caitlin Clark because she's more talented than everybody, richer than everybody. She looks better than everybody. They're mad at her because she's straight. All these different things. But whatever the case may be, they're saying that because of these things, which are just in their mind, right? Players are targeting her and trying to hurt her. What we're going to do tonight is really go into all of this type of stuff. We're going to go into all of these so-called flagrant fouls one by one, and really put as much as we can this to rest, especially for those of us who have any common sense, and any logic. I know most of them don't. I'm not even looking to really convince a lot of them unless they're people that have an open mind. Now, some of them come to my channel all the time and they swear they're not like the others. I'm not like the rest of them. I have an open mind. I have, but at the same time, they get offended when I say something about, those individuals who deserve to be called out. Right. So we're going to talk about that. But first, let's just, the guy who caused me to even talk about this, Stephen A. Smith, let's go listen to what he had to say. This was on his podcast.
I had to talk about a story that's very, very important. And albeit indirectly, it involves Caitlin Clark, the Department of Justice, and quite possibly the President of the United States himself. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it. But the one thing I will not do is take credit for this. I am looking at the Wall Street Journal. The author of the article is a guy by the name of Sean McLean. Let me read to y'all the opening couple of graphs because I want you to hear the impact of this. This is serious. This is serious. And I could say it with my team here, having the footage and the receipts to back me up. I could be in that I told you so mode. I really, really could. But I ain't going to do that because I'm in a good mood. I'm going to be chill. But I could be saying I told you so. Because let me read this to you.
HELOC versus HEI. What's the difference? Let me show you. HELOCs are loans. You borrow.
Because I'm in a good mood. I'm going to be chill. But I could be saying I told you so. Because let me read this to you. Caitlin Clark has done for the women's NBA what Michael Jordan once did for the NBA. Made it more valuable, watchable, and marketable. Instead of protecting its transformative star, the league's leadership ignores the relentless targeting of Ms. Clark, treating its greatest asset as if she were a PR headache. That approach could turn into a legal liability for the WNBA. Since she joined the league last year, Ms. Clark's impact has been seismic. Merchandise sales soared 601%. Indiana Fever viewership jumped 170%. The team's value tripled. League Pass subscriptions climbed 366%. App engagement rose 613%. And her endorsements topped $11 million. She's the economic engine driving the league forward. Mystics co-owner Sheila Johnson questioned Ms. Clark.
All right. Now, a lot of that can actually be kind of challenged, but I'm not really here to challenge that stuff tonight. What I mean by that, little things like he said that the paying for like the viewership is increased, like for the WNBA, like as far as League Pass, for example. Like I have League Pass, but it isn't for Caitlin Clark. You know what I mean? And I'm sure there's other people that fall into the same category. Like I barely even watch her. Like to be honest with you, like since last season when she started like doing all that flopping and all of that BS, like I rarely watch her. I'll watch sometimes if it's like if I'm just curious to see if they could possibly beat a certain team like the Liberty or something like that, or I'll watch because I'm covering it. And I'm curious to see if her game has improved at all. She gotten any type of a mid range. I watch for those reasons, but I don't watch her, right? So, but with these numbers, they'll include any type of engagement. So they're saying all the engagement, all of us talking about it. Like right now, me having a channel or Showtime or shout out to all the brothers, HD, everybody's channel, they're going to assume that's all. They're going to credit all that to Caitlin Clark, right? So these numbers don't really mean much. Now it's undeniable that she does have a large fan base and people who want to see her. You know, we know who they are. We know about them. But anyway, we're going to let him finish to really get to the part that I'm really trying to challenge.
2024 Time Athlete of the Year recognition. Ms. Clark shattered fan vote records with 1.29 million all-star votes, yet ranked only 9th among guards on the player ballot. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't stop there. Because before I read you some quotes, I want to also read you why I'm saying this to you. Remember when I brought up the 2024 U.S. Olympic roster, how she was left off of that, and how stupid that was for Team USA women's basketball to leave her off? Remember I said that? They said this is where they're going now. Ms. Clark's targeting may reflect a culture of disparate treatment, and the evidence provides reasonable cause for a federal probe into potential civil rights violations. Am I making it up now? Remember I said this months ago. Remember I talked about people being...
All right, first of all, differing, or I've been different than a lot of content creators with Stephen A. Smith. A lot of guys that are on here are just done with him. Like, whether you listening to Ticket TV, Too Raw for TV, or some of the brothers that I deal with, they just done with Stephen A. Smith. He all types of coons, he's Stephen Fetching, he's all of that kind of stuff. And I've been one of the people that have kind of disagreed with a lot of that, because I had a soft spot for Stephen A. Smith because, I remember him as a young reporter before he had all that money. I remember him writing for the Philadelphia Inquirer, right? I remember he used to appear on little radio, the local radio, right, weekly, and I liked him. I took a liking to him back then, because Stephen A. Smith would not be Stephen A. Smith if it wasn't for Allen Iverson. Because Allen Iverson actually took a liking to him when he was in Philly. And Allen Iverson would give him exclusive interviews that he wouldn't give other people locally because he was black, right? So the blackness helped him to get where he is, right? That's something I hope he never forgets, right? Allen Iverson was giving him exclusive interviews because he was able to, he able to have talk to New York lingo as a black man and all of those types of things, right? He should remember that, his humble beginnings. But at any rate, all I'm saying is now I'm done with this guy. Like, I've completely starting to understand where other people are coming from with it. This is a guy that will do anything for the money, period. Wherever the money is, that's what he's doing, right? And I get it. I love money just like the next guy. But the thing about that stuff, about money, is at the end of the day, whether you're poor, whether you're rich, whether you in between the world, we all going to the same place. We all moving in the same direction, bro. And that's to that grave, and really at the end of the day, once you're buried and gone, the only thing that's going to matter, right, of course, besides your children being left, is your legacy. What is Stephen A. Smith going to be remembered as? That's just what I would say. Because right now, man, this right here, this is ridiculous. It was bad enough, he was arguing the way he was arguing for, her being on the Olympic team, which she had no reason to be on the Olympic team. None whatsoever, right? You were a college player. They didn't have any college players on the team. There was a process of selecting players. Players had to make certain deadlines, had to make certain meetings. They had to be at certain workouts, and she couldn't make it. She went deep into the tournament. She couldn't make it. It's that simple, right? He's coming with this idea that somehow if Caitlin Clark is on the Olympic team, that the whole world is going to watch more. What is the evidence of this? It's like, and then really, why would they even be concerned about that? It's like that whole thing. I talked about that last year. If you weren't on the channel, you can go back to those videos. I went in on that. All right. But we're going to continue. Let them finish before we start getting into the information we got challenging this here federal probe. I didn't even get to that yet.
About people being jealous. The Cheryl Swoops of the world and others. Remember I pointed that stuff out? Remember I talked about the rough housing? Remember I talked about all of that? Let me read further. This would mirror the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission investigation into the Erica Hamby's pregnancy discrimination claims against the WNBA and her team. Congress and labor and justice departments would be justified in examining the facts. At Harvard and Columbia, during anti-Semitic protests, institutional leaders played down threats and failed to protect students. Congress and Trump's administration demanded answers. Columbia's recent $221 million settlement for civil rights violations shows the effect of such scrutiny.
Hold up. Did this Negro just compare Caitlin Clark and that situation we're going to talk about? Because we're going to kill all of that before we out of here. We're going to kill all of that BS, right? About how she's being guarded and all of that. Did he just compare this to Erica Hamby's pregnancy and the way she was treated by the ACEs during her pregnancy, which is a real valid situation that does call for civil rights? Did he just do that? Did I just hear that? Did I just hear this Negro compare this to anti-Semitic stuff that's going on these college campuses, we ain't gonna get into that because that's a whole nother thing, right? About Palestine and all of that. But the point is, these are real cogent issues. Are we going to compare a basketball player who's getting paid handsomely, $28 million from endorsers and all of that, to that? A basketball player who we just saw chilling with all her enemies, getting drunk, right, during the damn weekend, just having as much fun as everybody else. But all of them hate her and all of this. Is this what we doing? Is this what we doing? She up there, so-called, she up there with the stud buds, and supposedly they all hate her because she's straight. This is what we doing. I ain't gonna get into that either. Right? This is what we doing. We're gonna pretend like this is what we're gonna do. Okay.
If the Trump administration can settle with Colombia for a $221 million settlement over what's taking place on the campus, you think you can definitively rule out what kind of noise can be made if the WNBA continues to allow this treatment of Caitlin Clark? You really, really think they're going to be silent? Now, before you go any further, I'm not here saying that the case will be won by the government if we got to that point. Like that. I'm saying they have a case. They have an argument. And that at his discretion, at his disposal, if he finds this to be an issue that's politically expedient for him, that Trump won't use this to feed his base. The golden child in her second year in the league, who was top 4 in MVP voting last year, the assist leader last year, galvanizing talent that has done wonders for the NBA. If she is seen to be physically getting abused on a basketball court in a way that is such a clear and flagrant discrepancy compared to what happens to others, that man is not going to say something? Didn't you just hear Charlamagne the God?
I'm trying to really be on my best behavior, y'all. For those who follow the channel, you know me. I will fly off the handle with some of this stuff. But let me try to put it best try to put as best I can. Number one, there is no cause for an investigation. And if they did investigate, they would come away with nothing, which we're going to show in a minute. But beyond that, who gives a damn about Donald Trump? And I mean that. Who gives a damn? Last I heard, this is the United States. Last I heard, this is a democracy, right? I know for real, it's really like a republic, oligarch republic. I know that. That's the truth. But last I heard, as far as what we present to the world, this is a democracy. This is not a dictatorship. This ain't no king. This ain't no absolute ruler. Last I checked, you have the federal sector, then you have the state sector, then you have the city sector. Last I checked, these things are separated. You have the private sector and the federal. A federal probe about what? And then what is he going to do? What are you going to do? Shut down the WNBA? Lock up Kathy Engelberg? What is he going to do? What are we talking about? What are the consequences? He's talking about fueling that base. You know why? Because Stephen A. Smith fears those people. We talking about, he's going to use that to fuel his base. Oh, my God. You Stephen fetching ass nigga. I'm sorry. I can't. I just can't do this. He has all the qualities of like an emasculated man who sold his soul just for a couple of crumbs. And it's crumbs, man. I know it's a lot to us and us who come from humble beginnings. But them billionaires is throwing him crumbs, man. That money getting from Nike and ESPN is nothing to them. And he's just sitting here doing this whole song and dance. But let's look into it. What would Donald Trump find any event that there's a federal probe? What would they find? If you go to Caitlin Clark channels, right, and this is the thing I can't stand about these guys, even the ones I mess with, they're all dishonest, right? They really are. Or if they're not lying, what they're doing is they're twisting the truth in a way where it makes it more palatable, makes something seem more egregious. You know what they'll say? They'll say the proof that Caitlin Clark is being guarded, way harder than everybody and being abused is that 17% of the flagrant fouls, that are called are against Caitlin Clark that are called, in the WNBA. Why is she getting the most? 17%, right? What these liars won't tell you is that all this is about last year, 5 flagrant fouls. Caitlin Clark played in 40 games. You know how many flagrant fouls there were? 5 against her. 3 by one team, the Chicago Sky. 2 happened in the same damn game. We can count them on our head. 1 was done by a teammate of hers this year. Let's go through them. The Kennedy Carter bump. We all agree, yeah, that was Kennedy Carter was wrong, and she was assessed what she was assessed, and that's right. It was a flagrant. Kennedy Carter, I believe, what was she fined or something like that? That was dealt with. Okay, we get it. But it ain't like it was to hurt you. Like somebody bumping you right here, like these people, they're like, oh gosh, she was assaulted, like he's gonna break her back or something. It's because y'all are dishonest liars. There's just something wrong with y'all. Like really. All right, she bumped her. All right, it was wrong. Okay, boom, we're done. What's the next one? The next one was Ari McDonald. Who's who? Who's Ari McDonald? And McDonald is Caitlin Clark's teammate this year, right? Her backup right now that she owes a lot to Ari McDonald holding it down for her. Okay. Ari McDonald on a closeout from a step back 3 that Caitlin Clark was doing. The 3-pointer, Ari McDonald was closing out. And she landed into her landing space. Okay. Sporting News had already looked into it. Many people looked into it. And they say there's nothing egregious about that. Like if you ever played basketball and you're trying to guard a 3-point shot and you're jumping, it's difficult to not go into someone's landing space at times. Well, what do the Clarkies do? They try to argue that this was similar to Jaja Pachulia's landing on Kawhi Leonard. This is the argument they try to make. Why? Because they have no desire to have a good opinion of a black person, a black player. And I don't care. Don't sit here and tell me nothing else. I've read too many statements from these people. I've read too much. I've read too many of them saying they're, these gay black women who hate her because she's white and all of this. I've read too much of that shit for any of y'all to tell me anything different. I've read too much of that on too many threads. And if you're telling me you ain't never seen that stuff, you're a liar. Or you're living under a rock. Or you're blind, or you can't read. That's the only way you haven't seen that stuff. Period. You ain't gonna tell me you ain't changing my mind on that one. That one just is what it is. They're not going to give any of the players the benefit of the doubt because it's already in their mind, because most of them are a bunch of followers who just listen to internet influencers. It's already in their mind that these players hate her, that they want to hurt her and all these different things. Ari McDonald closing out on the 3. They say, oh, man, he's trying to hurt her. What was the other one? The Angel Reese going for the block and hit her in the head, right? What do they say? Oh, Angel Reese trying to hurt her. What do they say? There's not a possibility that she was going for the ball. No, she was trying to hurt her. You know what's crazy? Henry T. Hurley. Okay, that's a good point. We'll get to that stuff later. Talk about Ariel Powers had 20% of flagrant fouls committed her in 2022. All right. That's good. We'll get to some of that. We're talking about 5 fouls. 5. Okay? In 40 games. And they try to use this to make an argument this person is targeted. We're talking about 5 in 40 games. 3 happened by one team. 2 for the rest of the league. And they're trying to use this as an argument that the whole league is targeting. Does that make sense? If it does, make the argument for me that it makes sense. So instead of being honest and saying there was 5 flagrant fouls against her, what they'll say is 70%, 17% of all the flagrant fouls were against her. You see how that works? See how you can do that to make something sound worse than it is? All right, so the Angel Reese one, she swiped at her, right? That was no different from when Caitlin Clark went to block a Jordan Canada from behind the head, hit Jordan Canada back in the head. Jordan Canada fell, but when Caitlin Clark does it, what is it? Oh, well, it wasn't malicious. And I know this because I go to their channels, and I was on their channels talking to some of them. And though they admit that Caitlin Clark at one time against the Minnesota Lynx smacked the hell out of somebody, right, which I recorded on my channel, they said, well, no, that's not malicious. So when she dishes it out, it's never malicious. It's always her trying, just playing a basketball play. If it's against her, then it's always malicious. What was the other one? The other one was the Diamond DeShields one that happened in the same game where Angel Reese, caught her in the head, right, going for the ball. And that was when Diamond DeShields, Caitlin Clark got a steal. She's running up the floor. Diamond DeShields after her. She's running too fast. And then, when you dribble and you kind of start to slow down, she's running too fast. The momentum then stops. She hit Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark goes and falls. Because she's so, everything is just when she gets hit, everything is just it ain't never just a regular fall. It's always some extra just, oh, God, right? So it looks really egregious. Now, is it possible that one was a real flagrant? Sure, I guess. Okay. But the two ones, the one by Michaela Onyenwere when she was in the landing space, the same as the Aaron McDonald one in the landing space, everyone is pretty much of an agreement. Sporting News looked at it. Other people looked at it. They said those two weren't egregious. Matter of fact, a couple of years ago, that wasn't even a foul, okay, in someone's landing space. It became a foul after Jaja Pachulia did it to Kawhi Leonard. But if you're going to try to make an argument to me that everybody who's in someone's landing space is trying to break their leg, you're an idiot, right? You're an idiot, man. And you never played sports before, right? It's very difficult to stop your momentum in that situation. Okay, so this is what we're talking about, people. We're talking about a federal investigation for 5 flagrant fouls, 5 in 40 games. Okay, 5. And then this year there was one. And this is what you're supposed to be presenting as an argument that she's targeted. Y'all going to have to do better. Y'all going to have to do better than that. They're going to throw that right out. They're going to throw that shit out. Okay? That's what's going to happen. They're going to throw that right out. Let's see what else this fool might have to say.
Point to Trump using issues to evade other issues. You don't think Caitlin Clark can become an issue of national, potentially international, and definitely federal proportions? You don't think so? Let me tell you what kind of quotes Trump would lead on. Sophie Cunningham told the Wall Street Journal, she's Caitlin Clark's teammate, the Indiana Fever, the star player of the league is not being protected.
Ever been short on cash at the worst time? Here's what I did. Open the MoneyLion app. Taps instant.
The star player of the league is not being protected.
All right. So his evidence here that he's using to back what he's saying is a statement of Sophie Cunningham's, one of the dirtiest players in the league. Sophie Cunningham, that's why they got her. She's a dirty player. That's why they got Sophie Cunningham. Now, listen, I don't have a problem with dirty players, but we got to call it like it is. Okay? Sophie Cunningham there to be the thug. She's supposed to be the black belt, right? Though there were plenty of times like she could have really got smoked with players that where she did not. But we're not going to question that, right? This is their tough guy. This is their Rick Mahorn, supposedly. Okay? The star player of the league is not being the star player of the league. She's just a glazer. What she is I'm not going to use that word because that could be a little egregious. But you know what type of mentality she has? She has the mindset of a person that you know how let's say a rich person comes into the room, right, amongst poor people. You know, some people are going to jump on there. They're going to just start acting different. You know, going to start acting different to get that person's attention. I really want to be down with you because you're getting this money and all of that, right? That's Sophie Cunningham. Okay, that's Sophie Cunningham. She just wants to be down with her because she sees her as a means to prop her up. Now the problem is Clark fans want everyone to be like Sophie, to just want to mooch off of Caitlin's success. So that's all Sophie is. Clearly, that's all she is. I want to call her something else, but I'm trying to avoid that kind of language. Okay, but that's what that is. A person that, if it's like say a man, a rich man come in, she gonna start flirting and getting a little loose, start showing a little leg. That's what she gonna do. And I wouldn't be surprised if she's trying that stuff with you know who. I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. Right? Because they little friendship, a little, you know. So that's all that is. Like, what do you mean the star player of the league? What is that? You know, come on.
Rebecca Lobo, analyst, ESPN. What does she say? Every single one of those plays against Caitlin Clark has been a foul.
What is
Dickie V?
What is every single play against her is a foul, right? You see how what they did was they just take a statement from Rebecca Lobo out of context. Every single one of them has been a foul. Every single one of what? Of what? Every time she's guarded, it's a foul. But to be honest with you, just to have a real conversation about the WNBA, the officiating is egregious. Just in general, we've had Kelsey Plum arguing about the lack of fouls being called. That's right, Lorenzo. That's right. You're right about the Kalia Copper. But Kelsey Plum was arguing. Angel Reeves damn near broke the damn table. She was talking about it. So that's a greater thing. That Stephen A. Smith, he's going to ignore that, though. That's just a thing in general. He probably doesn't even watch these games, to be honest with you. Right? They want to act like it's just Caitlin Clark being fouled. No. Chicago Sky fans, we complain about it all the time. And I would argue Angel Reeves is fouled way more than her because she plays in the post. And they're less likely to call post fouls. But what Clark fans want, they don't care about the rest of the league and the fouls. They just want her to be treated with exceptionalism. That's what they want. They want her to be treated exceptionally, different from everybody else. Why? Because they like to watch her. They want to see what they saw in Iowa, which is never going to happen because this isn't college. And she's going to have to develop more of a bag to get her shots off like that. It's not happening here. When you're in college, you're playing just like Tarasi said. You're playing against players that aren't on your level, right? Freshmen, young ones. You're like a senior, right? Now in the league, everybody's your size, damn near, or your strength, or have your experience or more. It's different now, right? What they don't want to come to conclude with is that she just ain't what they saying right now. Can she get there with hard work? Possibly, yeah. Why not? But she ain't there right now. She ain't that. She's not just going to come from college to this league and just do that. Ain't going to be 30 points every night. Ain't going to be 20, obviously. She's not consistent enough to do that. She's yet to go, 45% from the field. That's just from within the arc. From beyond the arc, forget it. She's never even sniffed 40%. These are the facts, right? And part of that is her game. Game is way too predictable, too easy to stick. They complain about she's getting double teamed all the time. Well, that's what happens when you play at the top of the key and you're inviting screens or calling for screens. When you call for screens, guess what happens? The player that's on the player that you're sticking is going to come with that player. The defender is going to come, and that's why you're doubled. Okay, so of course she finds a way to get assists. Right, of course. Who the hell can assist to the players in the pocket? Who came, along with the screener. It's like, but they don't want to talk about her real game though, and the limitations of her game. They just want everybody to they just want this to be professional wrestling for the sake of money. Let's just script this thing. They would be cool with that. Let's just script it all. I've heard them say that type of stuff. I remember Jeff Teague straight said it. I remember one of these clowns, I don't even know if he got a channel anymore. I don't even deal with him anymore. But King something, or one of these guys, AK something, on one of these channels, he literally said that these women they need to think about the bag and be like, hold up, all right. So if she get money, we gonna all get money. You know what I'm saying? So all right. So I straight up asked him. I said, okay. So you said it's just let her win? No, I ain't saying let her win. All right, what are you saying? Either you saying let her win or you saying stick her. What are we talking about? Guard her or let her? It's only one way or not. There's no two ways about that. This is what they want. This is what they want. Talking about now, federal investigation. What's going to happen out of a federal investigation? What's going to happen? Trump does it, then what? What are you going to do? Take their money? That's not how that works. He can only do that in the federal sector. Can't come in the private sector and just shut things down because you're the president. What the hell is Stephen A. Smith talking about? Sounds so stupid and elementary, like he doesn't even know politics, right? I think hanging with Sean Hannity is starting to affect his brain, because that's a dumbass, for real. That's a real dumbass, right? So he started to take that on. It's unbelievable, man. But in a second, I'm going to start dealing with your comments. But I ain't know how this was going to go tonight. Y'all know me, I can go into a whole civil rights spiel. I don't even want to start talking about civil rights. Then I'll start getting emotional, because it's very offensive, to be honest with you. To think that Caitlin Clark could possibly be a civil rights case is egregious. Egregious. And it's just another example of how they don't take, real civil rights history and situations like that seriously. It's like saying it's a joke that someone who was just awarded $28 million to play a fucking game is a civil rights case, whose injuries have nothing to do with anything. Now, just imagine if she was actually injured from being guarded. We don't know where the injuries came from. She came into the league, they saying she was injured before the season. That's what they saying. A quad. From my knowledge of weightlifting, it's probably from squatting and not knowing what you're doing. If you're a new squatter, you don't know what you're doing. You're probably squatting too much. She was talking about how she loved to do it. Probably squatting wrong. Messed her leg up. It's probably what happened. Who knows? Taking on too much weight, not proper form, anything can happen like that. And then the groin pull, like, how's someone else going to mess up your groin? You did that. Those are your movements, right? So unless someone knocked you into a split or something like that, which we haven't seen that happen. So what are we talking about again? So just to wrap it up, Caitlin Clark, their evidence that Caitlin Clark is just being guarded so differently from everybody, being abused and roughhoused and all that type of stuff, is what boils down to 5 flagrant fouls, 5 of them in 40 games. 3 committed by one team in Chicago Sky, 2 by the rest of the league, and you're trying to make an argument that the league is targeting. They swear that a player being double teamed, a player that is constantly calling for screens. I mean, it's just common sense. Blows my mind. Blows my mind. All right, let's see what you fellas got. Judge and jury, women get injured real easy because they are built for having babies, not playing physical sports. Not sure what you're talking about there, sir. Do y'all know how the process of a federal civil rights lawsuit? You have to file with the EEOC to get a right to sue paperwork. This means CCS to say she was being harassed Exactly. But he's making it sound like the federal government can just on their own go into a probe, and it's like probing what? You know, probing what? Brandon Elder, tell me about it. There's always something with this girl. That's exactly why I'm watching the Connecticut Sun versus LA Star. Exactly, bro. I'm the same way, man. I can't even watch. I remember last year. It got to a certain point last year. It was just ridiculous, flopping all over the place, man. Oh my god, this and that. And that. Every time she fouls somebody, I've seen her smack uh, Chelsea Gray all in the face, and then she's, oh my god, man. I'm not watching that crap, man. I started calling her Floppy Doo. That became that became the nickname I made for her, Floppy Doo, because I just can't watch that, man. It's not basketball. It's just nonsense, right? It's like a clown show. That whole thing that happened with J.C. Sheldon and Mabry, it's always a clown show, you know. And like I just don't have time for it. It ain't entertaining to me. Jehovah Sugar said the refs are very inconsistent and not a per game base. But yeah, the refs are bad, man. They need to overhaul that. That's a greater problem than just a Caitlin Clark. That's multiple players complaining about that. Clark just thinks she's special. I remember she went up after the game. You, come here. You. She go up to the damn official. You, come here. Okay, I'm Caitlin Clark. I'm talking to you. You. Okay? Like she just gets to do that, you know. But we've seen DJ Carrington approach officials after the game, and he calling for security with DJ coming over, like a complete whore doing that, like a complete hoe calling for security. You know, seeing Andrew Reese snap out on officials. You know, and really, but at the table she did it. Right? Kelsey Plum went off. She's damn near crying at the table because she's not getting calls. You know, so it's not just a Caitlin Clark thing, but they would have you think it is. They doing all this about 5 damn flagrant fouls. And like I said, 3 were just against the Chicago Sky. And part of that is because the refs were looking for that, right? Because you had the first game, Kenny Carter, dumbass, did what she did. That was dumb. We all agree, okay? That second game, and really every time they played Chicago after that, the refs are looking for stuff, right? Because there was all of the propaganda going into the game. So, you know, Michaela, who's not a dirty player at all, she don't have a dirty player bone in her body, is trying to close out on a 3, and they called a flagrant on that because she fell in her landings because Caitlin just falls on the ground, right? Caitlin didn't even hit Michaela's foot another. She falls. She is a flopper. That's the other thing. She's a flopper, and that's one of the reasons why I just act like she ain't never getting fouled. I don't respect floppers because I don't know when it's real or when it isn't. If you're a flopper, I don't know if it's real or not. Once you got that like reputation to me, I really don't care because you're just, you know, I can't distinguish between any time because you're always going to fall every time whenever it's anything, and that's the thing with her. Jared says Flash Smith would have a better case arguing that for J.C. Sheldon versus the Fever. They were bumping, hitting, and fouling her all game. Yeah. But you can't do a federal probe from the whole WNBA just against J.C. Sheldon. You know, that's the thing. Her and J.C. Sheldon had to go back to college, and they both go at each other. That just is what it is, you know. And J.C. Sheldon was just traded right to the Mystics. I kind of wish we'd have got her. I want every single player that she don't like. Like I want DJ, I want JC, I want Carrington, I want every player that's a problem for her personally. You know, I would have a team full of them. Right? It'll be a nightmare every time she played my team. Jamie says, why follow up with Stephen S. Smith? How the house leave live trying to denigrate black superstar athletes. That's how he placates his corporate masters. Oh man. My man kind of a little angry right there. I can dig it though, but Stephen A. taking me off too. Lorenzo D228, the W needs to get some professional reps and get rid of it. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Daquan G, these Matt Clarkies are so against activism now they want to use exactly. Exactly. They the ones against DEI, right? Bro, if I could just show you some of the statements by some of these people, man. And I am going to do that in a later date. I'm going to save some stuff for some other times. I got this whole article by some of them talking about that the whole league is DEI and all this kind of stuff. It's Caitlin Clark and all that. Now, these same people, they want the federal government to get involved. And I thought there's Republicans, man. Republicans are supposedly, they want the private sector to be private. They don't want the federal government getting involved. Now they sound like some damn Democrats, man. I don't know what the hell's going on. People are just hypocrites, man. People are just hypocrites. They have principles until they don't. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Or maybe these are the new Republicans. They're not like they used to be. Bring back the old school George Bush and them guys, right? Bring back the old school Walter Mondales and not Walter Mondale. Bring back the old school Reagans and all them guys, man. Crazy. The autism boy. He's talking about a wrench. You want a wrench? All right, I got you, brother. So am I able to give you one on here? I got you, autism. Just come back next time. I'm not able to do it right. I'm not able to do it from this particular platform I'm on, but I got you. Jehovah Sugar says the answer to the question is hell no. Smith needs to be investigated for his intelligence. Yeah. He's a smart guy, but he Smith all about that money, man. Money over everything for him, bro. I said one of them was North Philly owns Khalid Copper. So we didn't want to see that North Philly smooth. Yeah, I know. Yep, that's the way it looked. She ain't even get up. She got up, just kept playing ball. She know who to go after. She went at you. I'm telling you, Sophie is like using Caitlyn. I'm telling you, she's gonna be borrowing money and all that. I'm trying to tell you, Caitlyn, you got like a little $500,000 I can borrow. I'm trying to tell you, that's what she do. She like that's a little bully do to get real close to you. Oh yeah, you need friends, you need some help, yes and that. Yeah, I mean, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? You need other little things. I could do that too. If you want that, right? So that's what she did. Did that joint to JC Sheldon, did that little joint. She ain't messing with Mabry crazy ass. Right? You saw that, right? You ain't go nowhere near that one. You know what I'm saying? That would have been a real rumble. She go knock JC Sheldon down because she knows she can take her probably. You know what I'm saying? Just to impress Caitlin Clark, just to get cool with her. She the worst type of person, man. Tell you. That's what Sophie is. Tell you. I know them type people. They use next thing you know, she's gonna be borrowing money, all that. She gave herself away by saying, we can all just do this and all that. You know what I mean? She's a whatchamacallit. That's what she is. She just don't care if it's a man or doing it for a man or a woman. She don't care. Brandon Elder says, I think we all know the King Larry is about to be an afterthought for Stephen A. Smith to be talking like that. What you mean? Yeah. She definitely hit Jordan Canada. That's the same thing I was talking about. That's what I was talking about. But when she does it, it's never egregious, right? Yep, that's right. You've been capping. Jabari Mitchell says Angel Reese got her hair pulled by Bria Hartley and they didn't have her problem. Exactly. That's a fact. That's a fact. Why wasn't Marina Mabry thrown out the league when she knocked Caitlyn down? They love Mabry. Lee loves Mabry. I hope they'll throw Mabry out, but she's not thrown out because she doesn't fit the. Marina Mabry doesn't fit the category of a thug, right, or of a criminal, because apparently you have to be darker skinned to be considered a thug. Marina Mabry is just considered, just tough, right? That's how it works, in that sphere, in that media sphere over there, in that media, right? Thugs are dark skinned and they have braids and stuff like that. When they look like Marina Mabry, they're just fiery. They're just a little spicy. That's how that works. But I like Mabry. Let's just make that. I wish I could get her back. When we get a team in Philly, if Mabry's still young enough, I would still love to get Mabry. Mabry would probably don't mess with my camera now. They ain't like what I said. I don't care. Trump, I don't give a damn. You don't like what I'm saying. Judge and jury, LW says prior to the Carter bump, CC had elbowed her in the ribs. Yeah, exactly. Yep, that don't matter though. Nobody talk about that. Lou Rogers. And Henry Early brings up a good point. He says that Ariel Powers had 20% of total flagrant fouls committed against her in 2022. Didn't know that. Yep, glad you brought that up. AL504 says, I blame CC for this BS. She is too damn quiet with this rhetoric. I agree. I agree 100%, man. I agree 100%. She needs to definitely speak out against that. She does. I agree. I agree 100%, bro. She needs to step up and stop allowing these people to just talk on her behalf. This nonsense leads me to believe she likes this type of attention and she likes this stuff. Right? Makes me believe that she's feeding into it. Yep. Her being quiet, sometimes quiet is complicitness. But you know what? The thing about Trump might not help her. You know why? Because remember she was out there supporting Kamala because Taylor, she's out there running with Taylor Swift, who's supporting Kamala. Trump petty. He might not help her because of that. He might say you turn on your race, so I'm not helping you. Trump's crazy, man. I didn't even think about that one. Stephen A is out buck dancing. Stephen Django. Doing the Bojangles dance, man. Stephen A. Smith is just, it's bad, man. I feel you, AL504. It's dangerous rhetoric, bro. I feel you. Lorenzo says Stephen A. Smith is doing what his boss is telling him to do. Remember, this is the guy who said, yeah, wake up thinking about ways to make his boss. Yep. That's Stephen A. That's Stephen A. Wherever the money is at. Yep. Yep. Jacob Pirro, what's going on? My big fear now is if SA and Candace Owens breathe. Oh, man. Down to Earth Production says, all this because Caitlin Clark played like Ishi in her sophomore season. That is the root of it. To be real, that is really the root of it. Then nobody touching that player is going to have the KKK games. Said they will move forward with some kind of case. Only show black people how much our civil rights really matter. Yeah, unfortunately, I can see that. Unfortunately, I can see that, bro. Sporting Page, what's up, Sporting Page? Shout out to this page, man. Really good page. An investigation, man. They need to look into Adam Silver's crooked ass. We ain't talking about Adam Silver today, man. We ain't talking about Adam Silver today, bro. Said, are they really doing this? This is terrible. The WNBA better not involve themselves with this. They need to move on and leave it alone. I agree. I agree. Yep, it's sad, bro. Yep. Jay Babbitt, what's going on, bro? Yeah, I heard about this. This has gotten out of control. I don't even desire to watch this league. Yeah, man. That's how I'm feeling. They go do that. I might be getting there too, man. I might be getting there too. Like I can't watch. I can't watch that. You said, hey, I stopped reading when they said Sophie is of the face of the W. Yeah, I can't stand Sophie, bro. Because I see through Sophie, man. I see right through her. Speak up and shut it down, and people will ignore what she say anyway. Why is CC to dictate America's behavior? Why Jesus or something? I don't know. What do you mean? She you said she shouldn't speak up? Why shouldn't she speak up? That I don't understand. Sometimes when you're silent, people assume it's complicit, and I'm starting to think that she is complicit. To be honest with you, right? She spent the whole weekend with them, just having fun with them in the All Star game, All Star break. People that are on her team, like these are your counterparts. You can't allow them to go out there and do a fucking federal investigation for like saying these same people violated your civil rights. If she does just sit there and complicitly allow something like that to happen, I suggest they really do give them something to complain about. Oh, we're going to give you a reason for it to really be one. Like me, I would start knocking her down for real. If that's what we're going to do, right? But they all having fun drinking. She's drinking with the so-called studs, all the whole nine. They all having fun, right? She need to tell them stay the hell out of it, and she needs to let these women know she's one of them. That's the way. I'm part of this fraternity. I'm not better than y'all. I'm here and I'm part of it. Let that be known. Let that be clear. You know, that's the only way out. Get the respect of the league. You know, get their respect. I'm one of y'all. Okay. Just ignore all those people out there. I don't really mess with them, but I can't control them. Make sure those ladies understand that. That's the best thing for her. But make sure she shuts that down. The whole Trump and no. Call Stephen A. Smith, like, dude, can you please stop that? Right? She can talk to him on the side. Please stop doing that. Okay, I don't need that. It's not good. And because it ain't good. This will make her look like the biggest clown ever. She'll never, ever get GOAT status or any of that. All those other players who got GOAT status, the Rossies and the Parkers and the Maya Moores and all of that, all of them, they had to get it from the muscle. And they had to do it out there on the court, man. They ain't get no preferential treatment. They got knocked down, knocked around, the whole nine. Okay. Lorenzo says, I read some dumb delusional article from Outkick today. It was titled, Caitlyn not happy about Sophie poses picture pool outside in LA. The article never said such. Yeah, it'd be all kinds of stuff out there, bro. Yeah, but Sophie, Caitlyn, you better watch out for Sophie. I'm telling you. Better watch out for her. I know them type people. Here you go with this fool. Ain't nobody talking about that stuff, man. What you come to here with that dumb shit for, bro? Ain't nobody here talking about that. And we disagree with you. Yeah, they're not the same. One can play defense and offense. One can only play some offense. And she sucks this year, by the way. Since you want to keep talking about that stuff. Like, well, nobody even talking about that. Idiot. Say, hey, Survey, a slap at cloud chasing way to do it a student loan commercial. Say, Sylvie only tough with certain white girls. She won't run up on Mabry. There ain't too many people running up on Mabry. I already know. I already know that one. Yeah. Yeah, they make them girls. They make them girls tough with Mabry from. You know who else from over there? If you follow wrestling, Liv Morgan, they from like the same little area. Them girls is a little, you know what I mean? 'Cause to be a wrestler, you gotta be a little. They from like around the same little area. I lived out in Jersey for a couple of years. Speaking of DJC, just based on game one, this might be the Rasheed Wallace of Detroit on the WNBA when Fee comes back. Talking about DJ, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, man. Like Minnesota can throw all types of lineups at you. Now, that's crazy. Transition, they're gonna be sick. Sick, man. Off them steals. Then the whole defense just gonna be up a whole nother notch. She fit right in, man. These days great in game. She's great in teams where they have competency around them. And she can just wreak havoc and just cause chaos and just roam free, play free safety. She's sick in that role. Go grab blocks and steals and just be chaotic. I really wish Chicago would have went after her, man. But maybe they did and they just can't get nobody. I don't know. Jared talking about I want chaos. you talking about? Danny Jackson. Yep, I remember that game where they called them flagrants. They kept calling them on Diamond Shields. Like, yeah, that's what they were doing. So, whole federal investigation about she got 5 flagrant fouls last year. 5 in 40 games. 3 committed by the Chicago Sky, 2 by the rest of the league, and there was 1 this year. And it was part of her foolishness with J.C. Sheldon and all that. It's like, come on, bro. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I actually like the way the league is dealing with her, to be honest with you. No, make her earn her stripes, man. Woody Mac, why do you say these types of things, man? Why do we end up with these same conversations? Defense is only good to stop average offensive talent. Kobe shot over those. Rip Hamilton shot on the outstretched hand. Nah, bro. Nah, that's not the right way to look at it. Right? You're not going to shut down great players. But if, let's say, a great player shoots at 52% generally, if you can make him shoot 40% for that game, you did your job. That's all you're trying to do. You did your job. If you can cause a couple turnovers, you did your job. Right? It's not about shutting anyone down completely, you know, or make them have to make difficult shots. Right? What you want to do with Kobe Bryant is if Kobe Bryant is going to get you with a pump fake, spin move, floating towards the baseline, jump shot, good. The key is I'm gonna make Kobe shoot like that all day long. I'm gonna make Melo have to go deep, 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 deep in his bag all day long. That's the point, right? Don't give up easy buckets. That's really the goal. And you also wear them out with that too, right? So whether those defense might not seem like it's working, it is working. Now you gotta look at it like the whole overall impact of it. Defense is absolutely necessary. Said Sophie Cunningham in one of her most recent games pointed to a girl after a hard foul and said she kick her ass. She got to chill. Man, ain't nobody worried about no damn Sophie. You know what I mean? Sophie out there fronting like she tough in order to get in good with Caitlyn so she could borrow some money, bro. You know what I mean? She might even try to marry Caitlyn, bro. I ain't even joking, bro. She's just one of them types. She see money, her eyes get like that. I ain't want to be around that. You know, watch. You're gonna be hearing some stuff later. I'm just telling you, give it a couple years. Watch. They ain't gonna be able to anyway stand each other. I promise you. I know about them type of people. You come in here talking crazy about Kelsey Mitchell, bro. Y'all wouldn't be winning them games without Kelsey Mitchell. So what happened? The Fever just got smoked or something? Let me see what happened in the Fever game. Oh, y'all down? So you come in here talking crazy about Kelsey Mitchell because y'all down? When is Caitlyn coming back though? That's the question. Oh, Sophie out there. Sophie is on fire. How she got 18 points with a bum behind? Okay, Sophie. Listen, Thomas about to notch another triple dub. Looking like Sad 2 playing better. Cobb got 8 points. That's the thing. If you can get their big three on Phoenix to play well at the same time, they'll be hard to beat. But what's happening is it seems like since Khalid Copper has come back, Whitcomb's game has kind of been hurt a little bit. You know, you really need Whitcomb and you need who's the other one? Laxa, is that her name? You need them to hit those threes, man. Woody Mack said it's a layered debate I'm making, but when I saw the defense, so the defense is to stop the average players because everyone is an elite defensively. The elite defenders get the assignment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you're talking defense on one player, but overall, you want to just have good team defense overall. Like there's other things. There's denying great players the ball. There's different parts to it. A lot of times, Michael Jordan, for example, one of his like favorite things to do when he's really trying to shut you down is he'd deny you the ball. Right? There was a time when he played against Kerry Kittles, and what you call Calipari was running this little crazy play where Kerry Kittles was running around like a screen, and he was lighting Mike up, in the first half or whatever. Then as soon as Mike saw like this little smile on Kerry Kittles' face, like he was doing something, Mike looked over at the head coach Calipari. He did like this and saying basically nothing else. And for the rest of the game, he damn sure that he just didn't allow Kerry Kittles to get the ball, denied it. It's just different things you can do, but I get what you're saying. Uh, so Chris Render says I don't agree with the investigation, but I do believe a lot of hard fouls on CC are not called, which only rules fuels the fire. Yeah, I would say that for a lot of players, to be honest with you. My thing is the CC exceptionalism I don't accept. But if you want to say just in general, there's a lot of fouls that are happening in the W that aren't called. I would agree with that. I just don't accept the CC exceptionalism. I think that's just a crock by people who only pay attention to her. They admittedly don't watch other games. He said, "How many points did Sophie give up? She's just like Cece. She's not like Cece. Sophie is a hack on defense. Like she will hack you, right? Whereas Cece won't even do that. Sophie play like she a little stopper. She really a hack. But I'll take Sophie on my team though. I guess I just gotta keep her away from the star because she's gonna clout chase. Says ain't no one on these W teams have MJ energy. Well, MJ is MJ. You know what I mean? My favorite player, Paige, but she's mild. What do you mean mild? Yeah, Paige. Yeah, Paige might end up being one of my favorites right now. Though I'm liking Rakia Jackson too. She's not only got the look, but she's a beast. Got the game. But it's Rakia and Paige as far as just ballers. I like both of them. I like Slim too, though. I ain't gonna lie. I like Slim. Um, Slim Slim is inefficient as hell, but I just like Slim though. Who else? Sabrina at times. Like when Sabrina's on a heater, she entertaining. But her whole game, she the difference between Sabrina and say Paige is Sabrina relies on the floater. Paige don't really. She has a floater, but that ain't really a thing. She likes to turn around. She likes to stop and pop. It's just more prettier to me. Paige is a true disciple of Maya Moore. You could tell she really was a little girl watching Maya like her and Cece. That's the crazy thing. The crazy thing about Maya Moore, why she's so great, why she my goat though, she gave birth to both of them. Dude, like Cece and Paige and Maya's kids. They Maya Moore's children. They grew up watching her, idolizing her, wanting to be like her. But Paige is the one that got her game. I ain't gonna say she got it down, but she imitates her more, closely imitates her more than anybody else. But Paige is so nice. She added some Kyrie stuff to that joint. You see the move she put on that girl the other day? Oh my goodness! Came through with the double on this joint like this with two hands. Boom boom. Crossover between the legs. Came to that side, backed up. What did she do? Crossover this side, backed up. She had to put her on skates. It was just sickening. I'm like, come on, Paige. Come on, Paige. She be doing some sick stuff out there. And I like Kelly Cobra's game too. Cobra's smooth, smooth like silk. Said Paige has no killer instinct. I think it's too early for that, man. I think it's too early to say all that. Come on, autism boy. Don't be asking me that crazy stuff. Hell no, Paige ain't overrated. Ask me that crazy stuff. Say Paige is a magician, and here's why: she can be beautiful off the dribble, but is simultaneously sleepy. How does she do it? Ain't no Paige, ain't no damn sleepy, man. she's so good, she makes it look easy. But she ain't sleepy, she ain't lazy, she ain't none of that. She just one of them people that's so good, she makes it look easy. It looks like she's not putting no effort, but it's called being smooth. You know, it is what it is. But she dives for balls. She do all that stuff you're looking for. Play defense. She's not afraid to guard players that's bigger than her, more physical. None of that. Now I don't agree with that. Page ain't got no fire. You tripping? You tripping, bro? I don't know what you mean. I don't know what fire is. I don't know what you mean. What you want? A yellow screen after she score? You do want her to stick her tongue out after a logo three? What's fire? She ain't taking plays off. She ain't dogging it out there. You know what I mean? I'm not sure what you mean. All right, so anyway, man, you want MJ energy? You ain't getting that. You ain't getting that in the men's game or the women's game. That's Michael Jordan, bro. That's Michael Jordan. You looking for that? You might as well just give it up, my bro. I doubt you. You looking for Michael Jordan? You might as well give it up. You ain't finding that. So anyway, yeah, we gonna wrap this up right here, man. You know what I mean? Let them people know they out there tripping. One of them, but damn, Fever getting smizzled. They down 20. Trizzy. Sheesh. Getting smizzled. Listen, Thomas, 18, 11, and 7. She about to beast them for another. All she needs 3 more rebounds. Well, she need 3 assists. Well, she about to do another triple dub. You know, she just had a triple dub last game. That's my MVP, man. Like I know they was losing a couple games, and I know Fee, but man, I want to listen to Thomas. Listen, Thomas still. I feel like how bad the Mercury were last year and how different they are right now. Like got a lot to do with her, man. Copper's still on 8 points. So she assistant to Bonner. It looks like. Man, I got it. I might have to go watch that game, man, just so I could talk about it. Listen, man, the hell with the fever. I might have to watch it just so I could talk about it. Listen, but, bro, what are you talking about? You bugging. Nobody is Michael Jordan. I think what you need to do is stop comparing people to Michael Jordan. You need to just like stop doing that. That's just silly. That's just silly. Hold up, autism, but I'm trying to give you a joint. Ain't not let me, man. Hold on. You're not letting me take care of you, man. Trying to give you a joint, man. Wrench. I can't even find my live one here. That's crazy. I can't even find my own live. That's wild. That's wild. All right, y'all. Thanks for coming out, man. Just wanted to talk about that real quick. Addressing Stephen A. Smith. I'm done with it. My man River comes through with the super chat. Damn, 10. Okay. All right. What you got, River? Someone posted on Reddit a photo list of all media of Paige Becker's nasty mid-range crossovers. About half a billion views. Is Paige the face of the W? Uh, Oof. You know what? One day I'm going to give a talk about the whole face of the thing because to me, I think that's an overrated concept. You know, but I'll say this, man. Personally, I don't believe there's one face of the league. I believe there's a few. Without a doubt, Caitlin Clark to a certain group of fans is the face, without a doubt for them. For people like myself, is AJ Wilson. When I think of the WNBA, I think of AJ Wilson. Period. I think of excellence personified. I think of a champion. I think of a two-way player. I think of an unstoppable force. That's who I think of. You know. And then I'm sure them UConn people, them Husky fans, looking at Paige, and I get it. Paige is phenomenal. I have no problems with her game at all. It's almost a flawless game. You know. Period. You know. And Dalgio, what we drinking tonight? We drinking water and iced tea, my brother. Only thing I drink. But I agree with Diana Taurasi. Paige Beckers has a chance to one day be the best player in the league for Shizzy. If she can learn, continue to deal with the physicality, gets a team around her, yeah, she got the skills. See, I'm going to need to hate watch Fever lose later. Yeah, I feel you, man. I'm going to watch that joint too, man. But I'm a fan of Alyssa Thomas, Copper, and them. So I enjoy it from that standpoint, watching them, handle their business. You know, he said Diana Taurasi said that the Fever will be elite and dangerous as soon as Cece returns. Well, she's entitled to her opinion. I tell you what, they have no excuse not to be. They got the Fever has all the weapons in the world. They have no excuse not to be. You know, But it all depends on how. See, they got Diana Taurasi afraid to, criticize girl right now, man, and that's a shame. That's a shame, man. But again, man, I thank everybody for coming out, man. It's been nice. I think we did a good job of breaking it down, breaking this whole thing down. These old over exaggerating everything behind jokers, exaggerating everything over five damn flagrant files, which ain't nothing. It's crazy. You know, facts. This is a fact right here. Angel Reese bring the celebrities, especially the cool celebrities anyway. We ain't talking about like what's my man cornball dude uh uh do Zakis, what is his name? The boy from Saturday Night Live. Zakis, whatever his damn name is. That's he's a CC guy. But yeah, Angel Reese bring the cool fans. Oh yeah, I forgot Sophie played for the Mercury, so she trying to show out. Said Mercury fans on Sophie had to Bonner gripped her up. Damn, I'm missing all types of stuff, man. Yo, I gotta get to that game. I'm missing this stuff. I'm gonna get with y'all later, man. I'm missing fights. I'm missing shenanigans. Dang, I love shenanigans. I'm gonna get with y'all later, man.